here in the community. And so that is with Karina Kaufman Gutierrez. We passed unprecedented, huge amounts of money to relief, and who did it go to? Who did it go to? It went to real estate developers getting cushy tax cuts. It went to Steven Mnuchin's friends. We're talking about $4 billion in leveraged funds to go to Wall Street so that people could spend it on stock buybacks. And we're talking about spending unprecedented amounts of money on who? The richest and the wealthiest and the most powerful people. And meanwhile, I'm looking at this bill, and then I have to look at it and think about voting for it, and then coming back to my community and tell teachers you still need to scramble to help the nurses, and tell undocumented kids I did nothing to help you. No. I had to come back and say I stood up to fight for you. And in a time when everyone came together and said it's acceptable to leave our families out, I had to stand up and say it's unacceptable to leave our families out. But when we talk about why we're criticizing these relief bills, this is why. You know, it should be an embarrassment that people, everyday people, undocumented families are stepping up and taking care of nurses and taking care of food workers because our government won't. It's unacceptable. And that's why we have to push. I hope people understand that's why I push, even though that sometimes makes me a bad guy, because it's unacceptable. And I'm asking the United States federal government to get it together, because it's working families that are suffering. It's not Mitch McConnell. It's not Donald Trump. It's not even me that's suffering. It's working families that are suffering. So enough. We need to act with the urgency of an emergency.
Undocumented people should not have to depend on the generosity of strangers and our neighbors to be able to make ends meet, to pay rent, to get food. It is so dehumanizing to have to beg our mayor and our governor to care about immigrant families because we're left out of stimulus plans, because we're left out of city funds, because we're left out of state funds.